Your book, On the Edge, Leadership Lessons from Everest and Other Extreme Environments. In the book, you draw parallels between mountaineering and business. And, again, when I went and read the book, what spoke to me was the through line was these leadership principles that not only apply to the world of mountaineering, but to the worlds in corporate America, in the business world. Talk a little bit about that.
Sure. Well, throughout the whole book really is, lessons I learned in the mountains in various extreme environments, whether it's Antarctica, skiing to the South Pole, whatever, all those lessons I've learned from these extreme environments and how they apply to everyday challenges in the business world and in your personal life. So there's a couple that I'll bring up really quickly. One is about managing fear, right? Because the world today is incredibly unpredictable. And when there's a lot of unpredictability and uncertainty and ambiguity, that tends to produce like fear and anxiety in people. And what I really learned in the environments that I've been in is that fear is okay. Fear is just a normal human emotion. Complacency is what will kill you, right? Even when you feel this fear, you have to be able to act and react quickly when you're in environments that are constantly shifting and changing. And so fear is fine. Let yourself feel fear. Just don't let it paralyze you. You have to keep going in the face of fear. And I remind people all the time that you can be scared and brave at the same time. You can be scared and brave at the same time. So you have to learn how to manage fear when you're in these ever changing, constantly shifting environments. And then another one that I think is so important is learning how to redefine progress. So when you're climbing Mount Everest, you actually don't just get to base camp and climb to camp one and climb to camp two and climb to camp three and climb to camp four and go to the summit. People think you just climb up the mountain, and that's actually not how it works. You spend about 10 days trekking into base camp. And then once you get there, you move up to the higher camps one at a time, but you go to camp one and then you come back down to base camp again. And then you spend a few days at base camp because this is all about letting your body get used to the altitude very slowly. So you go down to base camp again. Then you climb to camp one again for a second time. And then you climb to camp two. And then you come back down to base camp again. Spend more time at base camp. And then you climb to camp one, climb to camp two, climb to camp three, 24,000 feet above sea level, back down to base camp again. And so it's very physically challenging, of course, to be going up and down and up higher and back down. Psychologically, it's also very, very challenging because the summit is this way and you are spending a lot of time climbing this way. And you might think that you're losing ground or you're not making progress because you're climbing in the opposite direction from where you're trying to eventually get to. But when you're down climbing back to base camp, that is how your body gains strength, right? When you're at the lower elevation, you can eat, sleep, hydrate more easily, regain strength. Your body is deteriorating at the higher elevations, and you can get stronger when you're down at base camp. So while you're going in the wrong direction, you are actually making progress because you're helping your body acclimatize. And for whatever reason, we always think progress has to happen in one direction. So the book really helps you redefine progress. Sometimes progress doesn't always look like progress. Sometimes progress doesn't feel like progress, but it's still progress. Sometimes you do have to go backwards in order to eventually get to where you want to be. So actually have a phrase that I've trademarked, which is that backing up is not the same as backing down. Don't be
Yeah.
afraid to back up. That is not defeat. That is your opportunity to gain some strength so you're
Yeah.
better out of the gates the next time.
It's like a reset, recontextualize, a restart, or recalibrate. I love that. And I love that phrase.